Tonight, I want to tell you a story. Not a story about castles or dragons, but about something far more powerful. About waiting, about hope, and about love that never fades. Imagine this: a quiet kitchen in the late evening, the hum of the refrigerator, the faint ticking of a clock on the wall. A man sits at the table, his hands resting on the wood, still trembling just a little. His heart is beating too fast to ignore, and he knows that if he doesn't speak these words aloud, he might burst. So he begins, softly, almost to himself. He says, "For 12 years, my entire world has been shaped by one absence. And from here, the story unfolds. 12 years ago, in a storm of courtrooms and custody battles, his little girl, just 5 years old, was taken away. Her name was Sophie. She had a bright, mischievous smile with a little gap between her front teeth. And she carried everywhere an old, gray stuffed elephant she called Ellie. One day, she was there, sitting in her little room with purple blankets and storybooks. And the next, she was gone. No note, no trail, just silence. And for this father, life became a long night with no dawn. He searched in every way a person can search. He hired detectives, some kind, some cruel. He chased after whispers and shadows, hung 10,000 flyers, joined forums, watched the names and faces in missing persons databases until his vision blurred. He gave everything he had, even what he didn't, and still nothing. So he lived like a ghost, holding on to the only thing left of his daughter. Her room, perfectly preserved. The purple bedspread never changed. The drawings on the wall stayed taped where her tiny hands had left them. The books waited on the shelf. And on his pillow, every single night, he placed Ellie, the elephant, soft and worn, carrying the memory of a child's love. People told him to move on, to find peace. But how does a parent move on from their own heart? He couldn't. His peace had a name, and that name was Sophie. Now, here's where the story takes its turn. This morning, his phone rang. An unknown number, a state he didn't recognize. Normally, he'd let it go. Too many years of scam calls, too many reminders of debts and disappointments. But this time, something inside told him to pick up. On the other end was a detective. His name was Detective Evans, and he had news. A counselor at a high school 2 states away had noticed something unusual. A young girl, now 17, mentioned she had never seen her birth certificate. Her mother had always said it was lost in a move. Something about the story didn't sit right with the counselor. So the authorities looked closer. They searched the national database. And there, after all these years, a name appeared. His name. The father who'd never stopped looking. And then, softly, the detective said the words that would change everything. "Sir, we've located your daughter. She's safe, she's healthy, and she's been asking about you." Imagine for a moment the silence that must have filled that kitchen. The way his heart must have stopped just for a beat, as if it too needed time to understand. Then the detective asked a question more incredible than any he had ever heard in his life. "Would you like to speak with her? She's right here." There was the sound of the phone shifting, a breath, and then a voice. Soft, unsure, older now, but unmistakable. "Hi, Dad. I've been looking for you too." And in that moment, 12 years of darkness cracked open, and light began to pour in. They spoke for an hour about little things, about everything. Words they'd been carrying for years finally had a place to go. And soon they will meet. The detectives have arranged a safe place, a quiet space. This weekend, father and daughter will see each other again. He's nervous. Of course he is. What do you wear to meet your own child again? What words do you use when every word feels both too small and too big at once? Will she like him? Will she see the man who never stopped loving her, or just the years that were stolen from them? But beneath the nerves is joy so deep he can hardly breathe. Because after 12 years, after countless prayers whispered into empty nights, after clinging to a stuffed elephant as a symbol of hope, he will finally hold his daughter again. And maybe, just maybe, Ellie the elephant will find its way back into Sophie's arms. So as you rest tonight, let this story remind you of something gentle and true. That love is not bound by time. That even in the longest night, hope can still glow like a candle. And that sometimes, when we least expect it, the call we've been waiting for finally comes. The story of Sophie and her father isn't just about loss. It's about holding on, and it's about finding again. And as you drift toward dreams, let yourself feel the quiet warmth of that reunion waiting just around the corner. Because love, real love, always finds its way home. Good night.